Hi everybody, I wanted to talk to you guys about a incident that happened with my autistic son in October of 2023. So my son had found a home on Zillow and it was a lease purchase agreement. It was like a property that was like 20 acres, and with his sensory problems he was really excited about this house. So my husband, not wanting him to get taken advantage of, said, okay, but let me, help you talk to these people and see what's going on here. So my husband called the guy, and it was a man from Home Partners, or at least that's what he was calling the company at this time, and his name was Mario Garcia, or that's what he says his name is. So we go ahead and talk to him, and the guy seemed legitimate enough. He said he was a real estate agent. We wanted to go see the house. He was very agreeable about it. Told us we could go out and see it. So we took our son to see the house. And when we got there, the homeowner was there, a guy by the name of Richard Hodge. And there was no Mario. So the guy shows us around. He took the guys out on a side-by-side around the property to show them the 20 acres. They came back. We thanked him for his time, basically. Told him we'd be in touch. And we left. So we were driving home, and we get a call from Mario Garcia from Home Partners saying that he had another family that was interested in the house from out of state, and that he didn't want them to drive all that way for nothing, and that if we were interested in the house, he wanted to know. We told him, okay, well, we're still driving. We'll be in touch with you. We'll call you when we get home. So we get home and we discussed everything. My son was like really excited about this house and he really wanted it. So my husband was like, okay, well, I will get a hold of him and tell him we're interested, but we needed to have an inspection done on the home. And if the house passed inspection, then we would go through with the lease purchase agreement and all would be great. So he said that we had to put the $15,000, that would be the initial down payment for the purchase agreement. He needed to wire transfer that to him, sign this contract stating that if the house passed inspection, that we would go through with the deal and my son would purchase the home after 2 years. So my son had wire transferred him the $15,000 and signed the contracts saying if the house passed inspection, he would purchase the home after 2 years and all would be fine. Well, the house didn't pass inspection. It had sewer issues. It had problems with the well. It was contaminated with bacteria, and it also didn't have enough water flow to it. So there were also other things wrong with the house. We told him, look, we don't want the house. My son's not interested. At this point, he's like, you have to continue with this because we have to have time to make repairs where this is a landlord situation, and was basically trying to convince us that he didn't have to let us not take this house. And we're like, look, we don't want the house. Well, a little back and forth between the two of us, and then at this point I knew we were getting nowhere and we needed to contact an attorney. So my husband calls an attorney, explains the situation, sends her over all the documents. She reads through it. She says, look, he can't do this. I'm going to send him a letter stating that he has X amount of time to return the money, and if he doesn't, At that point, we are going to file a lawsuit. Okay, so she does that. She sends out this letter. And then the letter comes back to her. So she sends out another letter. The letter comes back. At this point, she is digging around trying to look this man up and find out information. She then tells us, look, I think you've been scammed. She's like, did you see the house? Were you inside the house? I said, yes, we were there. We seen the house. We were inside of the house. We talked to the homeowner. We were there. She's like, okay, well, she told us to get on a website called Deeper Pockets or something like that. And then there was another one. It was Reddit and some other ones. And look up Mario Garcia and Home Partners and Orange Box and Pathlight. So we start looking. There are entire websites about this man scamming people out of $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever he can get them to send him. I was devastated. I mean, I just felt like I was going to throw up. I couldn't believe what was going on here. So at this point, we know this is a big problem. So we go to the police department, which we were advised to do. And we made a police report. The first police department said they believe this was a scam wholeheartedly. They would have to look into this. It was going to take a while. And we would have to, wait this out, and they would be in touch. So we leave. We go home. My son, at this point, is devastated. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I was the one that was supposed to be keeping him from getting scammed. I mean, I just felt sick over it. So the police department, the detective gets a hold of my husband and is like, okay, you filed the report in the wrong district. You're going to have to go to the district in which you live and file a report there. And we'll send over any information we have to them, and they can go from there. And we're like, okay. So we go ahead and call the police department in the area we were living in and talk to them. We're like, they treated us like we were bothering them. And basically called us stupid. I mean, made us feel way worse than we already did about it. And we're like, there's nothing we can do. You did this to yourself. So at this point, we're on our own. We contact our attorney. We told her what is going on. So she's like, all right, well, without an address to serve him, we can't take him to court. And I'm like, why can't we take the homeowner to court? We know where he is. Obviously, he owns the house. Well, he's denying any and all responsibility because he's like, I didn't know. I was taking advantage of myself. I didn't know this man wasn't who he said he was. So we're just left. No house, no money, nothing. Done. All right. I had put out some feelers on Facebook and these groups because there's entire groups devoted to Home Partners and Pathlight and this Mario Garcia scamming people and them trying to find him. So I put that out there and nothing came of it for a long time. And then about 6 months ago, I get a message. And this woman is like, I think you're who I'm looking for. She is being taken advantage of currently by Mario Garcia, Home Partners, and the homeowner. The homeowner is telling her to send this money to the same exact account that we sent it to, with the same man's name, everything. And it's all fake. Okay, so she's finding out here that she's being taken advantage of. And she's like, we have to do something. So I gave her, the attorney we were using at the time's information, was like, get a hold of her, let her know what's going on, and see what she thinks of this. Because before, they were allowing him to say he didn't know that the other guy was a scammer and that he was taken advantage of too. But how can that be if you have done it again and are having people send money to the same account? Okay, so she does. She contacts our attorney. The attorney then contacts us and says, look, I'm not going to practice this kind of law anymore, so I'm done. She quit. So now we have no attorney. So the person that is currently being taken advantage by these people finds her own attorney. And that attorney wanted to talk to us. So I spoke to them. And basically, he believes us, obviously. He's like, look, you know, it can't be a coincidence that he's done this twice with the same house, same guy, same supposed company. All right. So he starts looking into it. But he came back to me just recently here and said, look, without having any way to serve this other guy, we can't take him to court. We can't do anything about it. I was like, just sick over it. But we kind of already knew, so we'd had time to sit with this for a while, and and so I was kind of expecting nothing to come of it. I haven't been able to get anybody to hear me out this whole time, so I was expecting it. Well, then I had the hard news of having to tell my son, look, there's just nothing going to come of this. My son was heartbroken. He was literally suicidal over this. He came into my room one day and said, Mom, I'm afraid to be alone. And I said, why are you afraid to be alone? Because he had seemed like he was doing much better, so I really didn't notice that he was struggling this bad. So he says, I don't want to be alone because I don't want to live anymore. He felt like there was no good in the world. He felt like he was stupid. He felt like he just didn't want to be here anymore, he told me. So I told him I thought maybe we needed to go to the hospital. I took him to the hospital, and they weren't equipped to deal with what was going on. So then I ended up taking him to his family doctor, who had us take him to a mental facility to be evaluated. He was in there for about a week, and they talked with him, and changed some medications for him and helped him work through the processes. And what they had found was that he had just become so sad over all of it because he felt like he was stupid and he wouldn't be able to make it in the world because he was taken advantage of, he felt like, so easily, which it really was not that easily done. These contracts looked very legitimate. The lawyer initially thought these contracts looked very legitimate. I mean, we were inside of the house, you know? So, at that point, he couldn't take it anymore. After they kind of were able to counsel him for that week and get some medications changed around, they released him. And we were able to bring him home, and he's continuing with the counseling and the medications. And of course, you know, he feels bad about it and everything that happened, but he's doing much better now. But for anybody that's out there that has been taken advantage of by these people or anybody else, know that it is not you. It isn't something wrong in you. It is something broken in the person who took advantage of you. And you didn't deserve it because you were naive. You didn't deserve it because they were able to do it. This isn't something to be ashamed of or like lose your life over. Money is not a reason to ever want to end things. He's a good kid, and he didn't deserve this. And I do hope that the man from Pathlight, Home Partners, Orange Box, or whatever other name you're going to call the company next, because that's what he does. He just changes the LLC and does it again. I hope you know God saw you. I might never find you. I might never be able to bring you to court and make you accountable. But God saw you, and He will make you accountable. And that's what I'm going to have to be satisfied with. I just don't ever want anybody to feel the way my son felt. So I feel like this story needs to be told. And it doesn't have to be like this shameful secret that this terrible thing happened. You know? Like, these people didn't just, like, take money from him. They took his self-worth, his self-esteem. They took his happiness. They took how he felt about himself. And that is priceless. You can't replace that. You can't. So, if you were ever taken advantage of by these people or any other people, know that it speaks more about them than it does about you. And know that people in this world are still good people. And people do still care. And if nobody else cares what happened for you, I care. Much love to you all, and thank you for hearing me.